Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be making butter chicken and rice. Now, this is a two-step process. The first part is marinating the chicken, and the second part is the actual cooking. The quantities you see here are going to be used both for the marinating and the cooking. So, let's get started. The ingredients we're going to be using are whole spices, cilantro, salt, masala or paprika, ground ginger garlic, rice, tomato, chicken obviously, tomato puree, oil, onions, and finally fresh cream. Now let's get marinating. Okay, let's get started marinating our chicken. So we're going to be using 1 teaspoon of paprika or masala, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of ground ginger garlic. And for our whole spices, we're going to be using half a teaspoon of turmeric, half a teaspoon of garam masala, and half a teaspoon of cumin. And now we're going to mix it all together. Mix well so that the chicken mixes. This looks good. The chicken is all covered. We used 2 pounds of chicken breast that are cut into cubes. And now, we're going to set this aside for about 30 minutes to marinate. So now while the chicken is marinating, we're going to get started on the rice. For the rice, we're going to need salt and boiling water. And the prep work for the rice was that we washed it 2 or 3 times and we soaked it for 10 minutes to get rid of the starch and to make the rice more fluffy like I said before. And now we're going to add in 4 cups of boiling water, which is double the amount of the rice. This also helps the rice cook faster. And we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of salt. And now we're going to pop this in the microwave 20 minutes to cook. This next step is very simple. While the rice is cooking, we're going to be working with our chicken again. The chicken has been marinating for half an hour and it smells really good. In a skillet, we're going to be adding in 2 tablespoons of oil. And when that gets hot, we're going to be adding in our chicken. When we're pouring the chicken in, we're going to use a spoon. And we don't want the chicken to cook fully. We're just going to cook it partially to seal it in the marinade because the rest is going to be cooking with the other ingredients. We're going to mix it so all the flavors blend together now. And we're going to let it cook. Now that our chicken's been cooking for 3 to 4 minutes, we're going to set this aside into a clean bowl because we don't want any cross-contamination, and we're going to get ready to do the sauce. And the color on the chicken has changed, which means that it's cooking, and it also means that it smells really good. Careful not to spill. And now we're going to set this aside and we're going to work on the sauce. This sauce is the same process as making chutney, which I made in my last video, so make sure you guys check that out. We're going to be adding in 2 tablespoons of oil into a hot skillet. And we're gonna be using 1 medium-sized onion. And for our whole spices, we're gonna be using half a teaspoon of turmeric, half a teaspoon of garam masala, 1 teaspoon of mustard seeds, and 1 teaspoon of cumin, and 1 bay leaf. We're also going to be using 1 teaspoon of ginger and garlic. And we're going to mix well. And we're going to let this cook until the onions are transparent. And now that the onions are transparent, we're going to be adding in the rest of our ingredients. We're going to be adding in a teaspoon of masala, and you can always add in more if you want it spicier. 2 tomatoes, medium-sized. We're also going to be adding in curry leaf, but the curry leaf is totally optional. And we're going to sprinkle in some cilantro. And we're going to mix it well. And you can smell all the spices blending together. And now we're going to add in a teaspoon of salt. And a pinch of sugar to cut down on the tomato's acid. And we're going to mix it again. And we're going to let it cook. Now our chutney has been cooking. Make sure to cover the pot while it's cooking. Make sure all the water drips out of the pan. And wow, guys, this looks really good. Once our tomatoes have softened and cooked, which they are now, we're going to add in 1 cup of tomato puree. The amount of puree can also matter on how much sauce you want. If you want more sauce, you can add in more puree. And now we're going to mix this once more and let it cook again. Okay, so we've let this cook for about 8 minutes. And we can see that the oil is separating from the chutney, which means that it's cooked. We wanted to cook it a little bit longer because we wanted the puree and the tomatoes to blend together. Now we're going to add in our chicken. And since we already cooked the chicken before, we don't want to cook it long this time. So for about 5 minutes. I'm going to mix it and see how it looks so nice together. And we're gonna let this cook. And it's also been 20 minutes, which means the rice is done. Ooh, look at that. The rice is so fluffy and it's just perfect. I can't wait to eat this. So now this has been cooking for 5 to 10 minutes. And look, guys, the chicken and the sauce is cooked. And this means that we can add in the fresh cream finally. So we're gonna do that. Ooh, look at that explosion of color. Okay, when we mix it, after we mix it, we're going to put the stove off because we don't want the fresh cream to cook too much or else it's gonna get lumpy and we really don't want that. We're gonna put the stove off and we're gonna let it cook in its steam. So after a few minutes of cooking in its heat, it looks like this. Oh my gosh, guys, this looks absolutely amazing and it smells divine. This is wonderful. Okay, and now we're gonna sprinkle some cilantro to garnish. And now we're also ready to plate it. So, wow. Okay, now we're gonna add final touches. And there you have it, guys. A very simple butter chicken that tastes amazing, looks amazing, and can be made by anyone with simple home ingredients. I hope you guys enjoy and keep a lookout for my next video.